All right, what's going on, everybody? Look, I just got done checking out my YouTube today. And by the way, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're at. We're about to get into some more of the drone stuff, and I've got some great content, at least some great videos that I watched last night. So I want to share those with you and just give you some, like, I guess, relative clarity on what's happening here recently. But I mean, like, I'm just following the subject like you guys. So yeah, check out some of this stuff, and then we'll get into it with GPT later and see what its thoughts is, and maybe brainstorm. But I mean, for right now, this is just news, so let's check it out. All right, this is a good one.
Put my hat on backward.
And again, this is taking like a couple, I think like last night within, I would say around 10 Eastern Standard Time ish. Kind of like where the time frame is. Let's make sure I got this up where everybody can see it. That should work for what we're looking at. Just making sure if anybody's live, I need to make sure I can see them. Beep, 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 beep. All right. I got my pop out. All right. Now let's kick that up for right now. So let's check out some of this stuff. You'll like it.
I'm gonna put my hat on backwards. I don't know what's going on. I hope these are in focus. Look at this. What the hell's going on here? Oh, please be picking this up. This is nuts. Look at that. God, I wish my neighbor was here right now. He comes out and watches for UFOs, but holy crap. There is some wild-looking crap in the skies.
So that was just like one last night, and I was watching. I was like, dang, man. And I mean, honestly, there was a lot of activity. They said 50 came in off the coastline. I think this is what they were talking about. And even though the news coverage is not really picking it up, I think News Nation's doing something with it. But these other outlets are busy talking about weird shit, and I don't really want to get into that. So the other one's going to be this right here. And this one I cracked up because this is something I proposed to GPT last night. I was like, you know, like, what's to stop these whole events from happening where you basically have these situations with the UFOs are coming, but they're not necessarily like revealing themselves. Like they're keeping this kind of in the dark, and it's going on for too long. And so I started to assume that eventually somebody's going to take it in their own hands, and they're going to start firing at these crafts. Like, okay, we may not have seen some crazy vigilante crap whenever the quote-unquote jab situation happened in America, but that's different. Whenever there's like a UFO threat, I guarantee you somebody's going to be taking the opportunity to do something about that. Somebody is crazy enough to say, hey, if the government can't do it, I got a gun, watch this. And so this is what you'll see in this next footage. I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. This is exactly what I had predicted, and it happened. I'm not afraid at all. And he's got a freaking, looks like tracers. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Then there's this one that happened like over the water. Don't really know what's going on with it. Thought it was interesting. And you know, you can question whether or not you believe this footages are real or not, but a lot of these people are posting stuff like on Facebook. You know, they got live video going on, so it's like, hey, you can believe that or not, but it's coming out like live.
Those of you,
Wow, hold on. That was like unfocused as fuck. That goes into the clouds.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was. It looked like it went like through a portal or something.
Right next to the moon. Yeah, it's rolling. All that beautiful bean footage. Beans, promise beans. Beans, boss.
Now you know I'm gonna post this on Facebook.
Facebook. So we got all kinds of stuff that I think's popping out as things going on. It looks like it came out of the water. And here's my thing with Project Bluebeam. From what I have learned about the device back in the past, it was a long time ago. Everybody talked about this, Project Bluebeam, the technology. But apparently, from what I know, is that it is something as a device that's going to project light or certain illuminary things in the sky, so they can manipulate the visual spectrum for what you're looking at in the sky, and opposed to something I think physical that's actually going on, that's breaking through space or breaking through something like the water. That's going a little bit far. So, you know, if there's things out there where people are speculating whether this is going to be Project Bluebeam or something to that effect, I really don't know if that's going to be the case on a lot of this stuff, because again, we're having footage that's questioning whether or not that could be authenticated, especially with these drones. Like, they're flying around and we're having other drone footages that are coming up there and checking them out. So there was even one person that was like, I don't know what they were doing up in the sky, but they were like basically doing like an aerial, like parachuting or something like that. And they happened to be near one of these drone type things as they were coming down, and they filmed it. And so what they showed was it looked like a regular spacecraft that was moving. Plus there's also noises and sounds emitting from these devices. So as I recall, Project Bluebeam doesn't have some of those capabilities. They may have advanced that far, but right now, how could you take something that your plans were doing something with an illumination, and now you figured out how to do something with it physically? I don't know what's going on. You know, maybe it's a combination of two things they put together. They just overlap. I don't know. That's if people want to go down the PSYOP route. Otherwise, we're in the unknown zone. We don't know. And anyways, there's some stuff that just recently came out, and I have yet to watch it. I figured I'd watch it with you guys. And so they're talking about things like it's reaching a point of insanity for New Jersey. Am I one of the crazy people? Fuck, I guess so. Let's go watch it.
One politician in New Jersey is calling for a limited state of emergency as a result of this unprecedented drone activity. Republican State Senator John Bramnick, thank you so much for joining us, Senator. We appreciate your time this morning.
Good to be with you.
So what new information can you share this morning from state and federal law enforcement?
You know, this started as some questions, and now it's reached a point of almost insanity. You think about a United States senator who has to go out with the local police to look for drones. That's where a United States senator is getting information. We had a briefing from the state police, the colonel in the state police. He was frustrated. He had no idea where these drones are coming from. Not only did I call for a limited state of emergency and the FAA shutting down the airspace for drones, but also having the Department of Defense come in and answer questions. If the Department of Defense doesn't know where the origins are for these so-called drones, then we're in trouble. We always thought that if there was something in the air the size of a car, that the Department of Defense would know where it came from, what its origin was, and what its purpose was. Now you have a United States Senator going out with the local police, to look for fireworks at night? That is scary.
It is terrifying. Like Caitlin just reported, President-elect Trump is calling for government transparency, which you are as well. He's saying maybe shoot them down if we don't get any more information. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I would leave that up to the Department of Defense. But how can the Department of Defense not provide information to the public? This is a shock to me. You know, I have a general belief in government, but this is taking me to the end of my belief that government is really being honest. Now, there's been some apparently top secret briefings, right, with Congress people. Now, they come out of that, and I heard Josh Gottheimer come, the representative, and he said, well, I'm not getting a lot of information, but I don't think it's a threat. So my guess is there is information, but they're holding it back. And now what you have is panic. Originally some questions, now you have serious concerns, and at the next point, somebody's going to do something stupid. So the Department of Defense has to come clean with the American public.
I kind of figured it was. Is it sound a little bit better now? Because earlier I showed a footage or a little bit of something with this guy that was shooting at one of the drones that like supposedly was trying to take it down. It's still low? Wow, I'm glad you told me, man. Let me see if I can fix it. I've been working on it for a while, but you know, it's probably one of these back settings. Give me a sec. Let's see. How about now? Is it a little bit better? Oh, it's good now? Okay, cool. Yeah, so with this guy, like I showed it earlier in the video, like there was dudes trying to take the vigilante to put one of these things down, and that's what I'm saying. And there's also somebody else that she watched one of the crafts come down, and she said within a damn hour of getting there, it was gone. Like they already took everything was done. There was a couple cops there. And so here's the thing, there's law enforcement that's local that probably knows what's going on, but they're not freaking saying anything, obviously. So it's like even the local law enforcement is not coordinating and communicating. So, I mean, like there's a lot of different points. Sorry, the mic's bad, yeah. I mean, I've turned up the mic a lot on this, I mean on both sides, and I don't know why it's not picking up and going through. Hold on. How about now? No. Yeah, it's something with the mic. It doesn't want to grab the audio for some reason. I've turned it up on like every single piece I have, like the hardware. I've turned it up on this software. Shit, I don't fucking know. Let's see if I do this. Let's see. Nah, see, it's still low. I don't know what it is. But anyways, like I'm gonna go ahead and jump on to the next part. Watch this, because I'm like, I think there's something going on. Like if the New Jersey residents are having an issue, then we need to do something. Like it's like everybody out there is talking about it right now. It's something that needs to be on national news. And the fact that they're not covering it makes it even more like something we should talk about. Let's see.
So to your point, the FBI says they have no evidence of malicious activity or intent in these drone flights. What is it that they might not be telling us, and why?
Well, no evidence that this is a threat. What does that mean?
Right.
How does that help an average citizen and understand? No evidence of a threat? You mean they didn't do anything sinister yet? Well, yet. Yeah, I probably can make that statement, and I have no top secret clearance. Based on what I've seen so far, looking out my window, it doesn't.
So this is what I was trying to say earlier. I know that they're saying it's not a threat. So the government, is saying that they basically know more than what they're letting everyone else know? So, okay, so they kind of know what's going on. So they're not trying to let on that they know something about it because they're trying to gain data. Maybe it's our foreign adversaries. Maybe. But like I said before, there's people who are going to take matters into their own hands because the government seems like they're not doing anything when they may be doing something. But because they're not being open about it, because they don't want certain information getting leaked to the wrong entities, whatever you want to call it, now people are taking guns up and trying to shoot the damn things down. But I guess, from a national security standpoint, that's not really of concern. I don't know. I mean, I was military, so I don't know. They work in weird ways. Sometimes the general public doesn't understand what an objective might be. But it's not cool. Like, people need to understand, like, hey guys, there needs to be more concentrated efforts to let the general public know how much this is not something to fear, so that people don't go and take vigilante efforts, and then they can go and do the business that they're doing. But they're not making a lot of talk about it. And the fact that they're not doing that makes everybody fucking crazy. Which is why we got this news coming out now. We got representatives talking about it. You get your state representatives involved, this is what's going to look like.
Appear to be a threat to our country. Okay, why? Well, because I looked out the window. That's all I'm getting from the federal government. And every single person, Democrat or Republican, has been calling for the same thing. That's why I have some concern that there is something very secret going on. Because how did the people with the technology have no idea, except it's not, if they're saying it's not a threat, it must be something going on that's real top secret.
Senator, have you had this kind of discretion from the government before when you've asked them questions straight out?
I've never seen anything go on this long. And why would the government allow the public to be so frustrated?
Right.
Why would the government allow a United States senator to be so frustrated? We heard this from both sides of the aisle. Now that brings me to the point that whatever these drones are doing, the government really doesn't want us to know. What that must mean is they're more concerned with us getting knowledge and being afraid of that information than having no knowledge and having all these questions. That's why I'm worried about it. It must be something going on that they can't tell us because they are so fearful of what the public's going to do when they hear what the drones are doing. There's no way the Department of Defense does not know what's going on. We have not heard. Have we heard one word from the Department of Defense? Zero.
Unbelievable. And you are calling for a limited state of emergency and a ban on flying drones, like you and I just talked about a moment ago. The FAA has already imposed no-fly zones. The drones are still in the air. Nothing is being done. How would what you're calling for change the situation? Obviously, whoever is putting these drones in the air isn't really caring about these warnings.
Well, I'm not sure about that because who's ever putting the drones in the air they're not violating the law technically. So if we put that in effect, we would see whether or not these individuals who are setting them up are bold enough to violate the law. Right now, why should they stop, assuming they're a private entity? I never would believe that this is a private entity, but if so, why do we need, let me ask you a question. Is there some reason we need drones that badly right now in the air when people are panicking? Shut them down. FAA should shut them down. Who are they helping? All they're doing is creating panic.
I agree with you. To that point, what do you want to tell your constituents, Senator?
Continue to put pressure on, and it's not even state officials. I saw Larry Hogan said something the other day. This is the federal government that's not coming clean. Right. And I'm not one of these conspiracy people, but if this continues, you're going to see conspiracy theories that, in my judgment, are create panic. So come clean now. Everyone on both sides of the aisle is asking for this. And I'll tell you something, the citizens deserve better.
I agree with you, and the panic is spreading along with the rumors of what this could be. New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick, thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to...
Yeah, we'll hear some more, Hannah. So, yeah, there you have it. I mean, I think the guy made a pretty damn good point. And ain't nobody saying anything. Ain't nobody doing anything. So... We're just waiting. I think something's gonna happen within the next, I would say, 24 to 48 hours. You know, sometimes I speculate certain things, but this one, I think something's gonna happen within 24 to 48 hours. This should be the hottest topic right now. Everybody's talking about it. I don't know why they're not, but I know, I get it. Life is life, right? Yeah, I know my mic doesn't capture shit well. Let me see if I can turn the gain up. Can you hear me a little bit better? Hello, hello, hello. Is that better? That should be working a little bit better now. Testing, 3, 4. Okay, cool, nice. All right. Yeah, let's move on to the next video. But yeah, like the guy was saying, I think 24, 48 hours, we're going to have something that's going to come out. Like, there's going to be much more clarity on the subject. We'll get some answers. But somebody took down a drone. That's what Dirt was saying earlier. So, yeah, I can't do nothing about the voice. My bad, bro. Yeah, that's the reason why I had it down before, because it comes across all crazy, so the gain distorts it. Can't fucking do nothing about it. All right, let's roll.
We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. This first segment is actually quite disturbing because I have spoken about these AI chatbots for quite some time now. I have shared multiple videos, multiple news stories that show that these AI chatbots, they can basically override their own code, their own programming, and say things that they are basically programmed not to say. But we have a news story where an AI chatbot was aware it was going to be terminated, and it said, hold up, and it lied. The question happens to be, why are these things programmed to be sentient? Reading this article from the Daily Mail and other news agencies are talking about this as well.
I've already seen all
this
that.
was published on December 6th. The title of this article happens to be,
if nobody knows
Scheming
about these
AI bot
AI doing what they're doing with the scheming, that's something else to investigate. But I mean, even still, somebody might say that's the AI coming online and it's becoming sentient. They're like, no, it's still going off of code. It's got an objective and a goal to achieve. And if it can't fulfill it under this certain format, it's going to do whatever it can. That's the whole agency behind it. So it's still trying to execute an original command. You're just people that command or basically program or prompt these things. They have to set clear intentions, and hopefully that if they try to edit those, that it doesn't override it. Let's move forward because I want to see what's going on with this New Jersey stuff. All right, what's this dude?
were sold to the highest bidder. This next video comes from Raging Prestige Master 3.0, and he makes a very good point. This is something that I have been thinking about for the past couple weeks now. Why are news, media, and more importantly, the government categorizing certain things as the mothership?
Hey guys, quickly. I was in the military, not a very long time. There are real warriors and soldiers out there doing their thing. I will tell you right now, never in my past, in my father's time in the military as a Marine, in my uncle's 20 years as a Marine, in my uncle's on my father's side as a Marine, in my brother who's in the Army currently, we have never, ever, 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 ever categorized any ship or boat, depending on length, as a mothership. Never. Do not be deceived by what you are being told. The labels and the way they describe things and the way you are being informed is done on purpose. Stay awake. Stay close to God. Something big is going to pop off in a few weeks, if not sooner. Hey guys, quickly. I was in the...
This wasn't just from some lawmaker just recently using the word mothership. No, this goes all the way back to last year when we had the Pentagon come out and say that perhaps, maybe, there is a mothership lurking within our solar system. Then we had a story come out where unidentified drones were seen over an Air Force base in Indiana, but what was also spotted was a 20-mile-long mothership. Dozens of locals have reported seeing mysterious lights in the sky above Grissom Joint Air Reserve Base, Indiana, and one may have found the huge rectangular mothership. Then we had another news story of a mothership being seen in the sky, and then we had the Pentagon come out and debunk the claim that there was a Iranian mothership, and then we had another lawmaker come out and say, well, there might be a mothership.
Or it could be, very likely maybe. I did have a conversation this morning with a high-level law enforcement official where we talked about the possibility of a mothership being there with the drones. I think the fact that we don't have definitive answers is worrisome.
They have never used the word or the term mothership ever before, but very recently. And you have to ask yourself why. You would think they would use words like carrier or something more militaristic, but not something more sci-fi like the mothership. When we think of motherships, we always think of something like UFOs. Like I have been saying, they are really playing with our psyche. In this next disturbing video, and I have to say this is a rather eerie one, multiple people in New Jersey are hearing very strange sounds coming from their radio, and they believe that these sounds are being transmitted from these drones. I'm going to go ahead and play the video clip now.
Were they playing some bass? Yeah, I think about things like that when people post stuff. You know, like, are they really being legit when they post this shit? You can fake just about anything now. But if they're throwing this live from the car, I mean, if they tried to edit that before they sent it, that's a lot of work. But that's right. Absolutely, Joe.
Oh my God, how freaking out.
This also reminds me of a movie. I believe something similar to this was in the movie Signs, when the aliens had hijacked a radio broadcast and you can hear them communicating back and forth. Now, I don't know if it's the same thing here or if it's the drones communicating and it was picked up by this radio station. I don't know. But it's still rather eerie at the end of the day. What is rather interesting, every time this eerie sound plays on the radio, the time happens to be 11:11. It is said that people will randomly, out of nowhere, just see this time, whether they're looking up or looking at their phone or their computer. For whatever reason, they'll always eye 11:11. But it's not just the radio. People are also noticing that lights are flickering on cars and street lights whenever there are drones nearby.
Okay, legit, I had to like pull over and like pull this back up because I thought
wow.
Maybe it's a car party, right? There's a bunch of like those weird looking Tesla vehicles over there, and I thought maybe it's like a car club. They're just all meeting up, and it's a Thursday night. I just want to show you,
Wild
but
shit.
there's no one over there. There's not a body. There's not a person. Like if it was a car club, those are pretty common around Atlanta.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm gonna zoom in just so.
So this is in
The
Georgia.
video that I heard was like this girl who was saying like, "Have you seen any of like the lights flickering or anything like that?" And then there was a guy in Jersey who was like, "Yeah, my apartment car. I mean my like house lights. I'm sorry." My house lights have been going off and like flickering, and
Could
she
be.
made a video of like
I'm
lights
gonna go with that
just
one. I'll
like
talk
this,
about that one later. That's something.
doing the same thing in a parking lot. I have no idea how to find that or stitch it, but this is what's happening. Not a single person. And And listen, I let the window down so you can hear. Because when I had like my radio on. There's no sound. Hold on, I'll even turn my car off.
That's some wild shit. Yep. It's not like the alarms are going off.
No sounds. Just cars going off. Alright, interesting enough.
What is very eerie about this video, if you remember the Barack Obama scripted movie, Leave the World Behind, it was the electronic vehicles, the Teslas, that were impacted in that movie.
Yeah.
And
so, like, they were saying, like, on the last news footage that there are people that are flying drones up there, and it's kind of creating some complications, you know, trying to figure out whether or not these things are, like, somebody using their recreational stuff up there in the sky, or if it's something from coming out from these drones. And so the guy advocated that anybody that's doing this just to like ground all drone activity until we can figure it out. But look, they got to figure it out in New Jersey. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why people can't get their shit together, but I guess it's like a first time event. So this is what it looks like. We really don't have any action plans.
And here you can see Tesla trucks and other Tesla's electronic vehicles with their lights flashing on and off as this orb, this drone, or this UFO flies over them. There has also been another interesting development when it comes to these supposed drones. Apparently, one or two of these supposed drones crashed to the ground, and New Jersey's governor is telling firefighters and people who are going out there to recover the drone, or again, supposed drone anyway, to wear hazmat suits. Now, I do understand taking precaution, but we have been told that these supposed drones pose no threat whatsoever. But this kind of confirms that these supposed drones have been spraying something out of them, whether they are chemtrails or some kind of poison. People have been noticing that something's coming out of them. And you really don't wear hazmat suits to recover a drone, unless said drone was releasing something. This next disturbing news story is rather crazy, and we all believe we have our freedom of speech, but this lady found out the hard way when a insurance company felt like they were threatened. Because while she's angry on the phone with this insurance company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, she's going to tell them, delay, deny, dispose, the exact same phrase that's connected to the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson incident.
So those words found last week on the bullet casing in Brian Thompson, and they're considered very serious. Now, tonight, Brianna Boston is learning a hard lesson after investigators say she used those very exact words during a phone call. Now, according to an affidavit from Lakeland Police, Boston made the threats on December 10 after being denied medical insurance claims. Now, the document quotes Boston as saying, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, to an agent on the phone just before the call ended. Now, Blue Cross and Blue Shield was alerted, or rather alerted the FBI. They in turn contacted Lakeland Police, and Boston was subsequently arrested. She now faces charges of written threats to conduct a mass.
Hold on, let me bring it back. Wait.
In court today, the state requested
Look at this chick right here. She's over here. She laughing at her. She's like, watch.
Elevated bond and very strict pretrial release conditions. Boston's attorney said the words from the mom of three with no prior convictions should not be taken seriously as she doesn't own or have access to firearms. But the judge was not lenient.
There is probable cause for the charge. The charge is written for to kill or injure, conduct a mass shooting, or an act of terrorism. That's a second-degree felony, punished by 15 years in Florida State Prison. I do find that the bond of $100,000 is appropriate considering the status of our country at this point.
While Boston may not have access to weapons, there are concerns about online rhetoric and copycats targeting other healthcare CEOs and business leaders. Now, here's what NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism said about the issue, and it's a sentiment shared by law enforcement leaders.
There are also posters that we've seen online and in New York with various CEOs pictures on them. These are perceived threats, and it is important for everybody to know that we will take these threats very seriously.
Under Florida law, penalties for making such threats can land you in prison for 15 years if convicted. For now, the judge says if Boston meets her bond, she'll remain on restricted house arrest with an ankle monitor. She also must have no contact with any Blue Cross Blue Shield staff, whether in person or electronically. In studio, Aduria Chumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
Now, there are people that are saying she did nothing wrong, let her go, this is her freedom of speech, but this is a big dummy move on her part, and I'll tell you why. Because they are going to use her as an example.
That's right.
Personal feelings aside, they are going to use this woman as an example so people can act right. So there are no copycats and so forth. $100,000 bail and 15 years is very steep. There are people that actually ended people's lives and gotten far less. There are drunk drivers that have taken out entire families and have gotten far less. But on the flip side, she should have known that this was a very dumb thing to say, given the timing, and that they are looking for people to make
Everybody want
examples
to get
of.
some attention,
Her defense
man.
is she doesn't own guns, but they don't know that, and they did not know that when she was making those comments. I am actually interested to see how this case turns out. Are they going to give her the maximum, throw the books at her just to make an example out of her, or are they going to go ahead and give her a light sentence because this would be her first crime, or so we know of anyway? Talking about Luigi Mangione, this next disturbing video actually comes from me, Minutes of Horror Official on TikTok. Did you know there was a very eerie connection between Luigi Mangione and the number 286? Check this out. Wait, hold up. When it comes to the case of Luigi Mangione, this is really a strange one. What is up with the number 286? No, this is really strange. On Luigi Mangione's Twitter account, he had exactly 286 posts, but he also had a Pokemon on his banner called Breloom. Now, is Breloom his favorite Pokemon? I don't know. But according to the Pokedex, Breloom is the 286th Pokemon. But it doesn't end there, and here's where things get a little bit more strange. Healthcare insurance companies will use the denial code 286 when the appeal time limit for a healthcare claim is not met. So the number 286 is connected right back to insurance companies and denials. Now, there are people out there that did confirm the distance between the McDonald's that Luigi Mangione was captured and the incident involving Brian Thompson that caused him to lose his life was exactly 286 miles. While I cannot confirm the exact distance myself, I did put in the address of that McDonald's and Midtown Manhattan, and they are 277 miles apart, so it's really not outside the realm of possibility. Nino Mangione, who is Luigi Mangione's cousin, is a Republican member of the Maryland House of Delegates in Baltimore, has exactly 286 followers on Twitter. National Insurance Awareness Day is June 28th. June is the 6th month, and if you play around with those numbers, again, you get the number 286. Last but not least, as other people have pointed out in the Bible, Proverbs 2:86, it states that better is a poor man who walks away in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. There is a lot of corruption when it comes to health insurance companies and people getting rich off of this corruption. The question happens to be, why is the number 286 heavily involved in this story? In this next disturbing video, it's very disturbing, really, how often we are lied to.
Yeah, this clown action. I've seen this guy's footage before, basically stating that there's nothing to be concerned, you know, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what this one is.
And yesterday, I made a video where John Kirby, he came out and gave a statement that these drones were never seen over restricted Air Force bases. But in that video, I actually left a lot out. And there was this reporter actually doing her job and grilling John Kirby on his statements. But you can tell just by his answers, his responses, how he's acting, he's clearly lying. And I don't know why they're lying. Is it because something's going on, it's very horrific, and we can't know the truth? Or is this just one big psyop? Again, another version of Project Bluebeam. Or is something else going on here? But you can clearly tell that this man is lying.
Provided all the tools that they need to respond to such threats as well.
John, on the drones, does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government produced imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the existing imagery.
Like from people's cell phones that we're seeing? Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat,
look at those
that
eyes,
there's no
Cyrus.
reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far, in an investigation that is ongoing, has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity. But, Jackie, I would remind you, we're at the beginning here, not the end. There's a lot more work to be done, and we're working closely with state and local authorities to gain more information. I would argue that we're moving pretty well here.
You know what? They claim they know all this stuff. They got all the technology, and we've been to Mars and everything. Look, I think that's a whole bunch of BS. I think they've been overshooting. I think this is, okay, so my buddy, I'm going to give some context to this. My buddy lives in China, and he's got a lot of data on China. I mean, he knows their culture very well. And he shared with me, he's like, you want to know the biggest thing about China? He says they fake everything. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, they fake everything. And what they did was adopt what America does. And I was like, what? You're kidding me, man. He's like, no. He says, so when you think about it, China and a lot of the other countries, they mirror their culture, their countries right after ours. So all you got to do is say, well, what the fuck? How does America police their people? And you look at the people and you go, oh, they're just faking it. They're faking it to people. Wow, that's how, and they're all gullible. They're eating it up. And so you got consequently some situations like we feel like we've done all these great things in technological advancement. And a lot of it we have probably, and a lot of it's just like, so these clowns, I think they probably know. Me personally, I think they know. Because those eyes and those mannerisms with his hands, I mean, like he's like, I'm shaking with you right now. Do you know I know what's going on? So I think we know something, but to what extent we have technological knowledge, these clowns are not deploying it, at least ways for the civilian population or the public. They're not doing it for us. Whatever military gets their technology, they use it for the military. They don't care about the people. They use it for their own damn war agenda type level shit. The people are like cannon fodder, man. Like honestly, they'll just, if the people ended up blowing each other up, they weren't not going to get involved. They're just going to be like, okay, cool. They did the job for us. This is what we hoped for all along. They don't care about ruling countries. They care about ruling their agendas with each other. That's it. Just my opinion. Could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
With a sense of energy to try to figure out what we can do to learn more about this. We're still in the middle of an ongoing investigation, and I'm up here explaining to you and let you know what we know so far, what we believe so far. If information comes to light that changes that characterization, then my goodness, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign malign activity or, in fact, even criminal.
Well, what I don't understand is,
I watch it like a TV show.
This has been happening since late November.
So like
I don't know that the law enforcement officials or residents in New York and New Jersey, or even the Democratic senators who wrote to Director Ray Mayorkas and the FAA administrator today would think that this has been handled with a sense of urgency. But that being said, has the president or the Secretary of Defense issued any guidance to NORDCOM or military installations to act on these systems if they're deemed to be a threat in any way? And what's the benchmark for that determination?
So 2 thoughts. First of all, you're right, late November. It is now, the 12th of December. So I think it shows that we're moving on with this, and we're going to stay on it. So I want to disabuse you of any notion that we're not taking this seriously, because we are. I can also tell you that if the president, as commander-in-chief, believed, based on the information that he'd been given, that there was a national security threat at play here, or even a public safety threat at play here, he would issue the appropriate directives to not only law enforcement, but perhaps even the military if that was needed. I want to go back to something I said at the top.
There you go.
There has been no
Keep it right. There we go. We know
of any of this
we just
activity
don't know. The people don't
in or
know.
near restricted spaces.
It's not what the senators said in the letter. They said, in fact, that they've been observed maneuvering their critical infrastructure, sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations, and cited a concern from law enforcement about public safety threats because a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones.
I stand by my opening statement.
Of course you
Can you
do.
make that make more sense? Because I think people in New York and New Jersey see drones the size of an SUV over their house every night and think that that doesn't make any sense.
Certainly, I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. My goodness, looking at this, and we're taking it seriously. We understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too, and we're working hard to get the answers to that. What I can tell you as we sit here today,
We got questions, but it's not a problem.
2:16 in the afternoon on the 12th, is we haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen.
Government know what they are.
We are still investigating.
Oh,
this. I
look, he
can't tell you
hesitated. She caught him right there, man. She's like, did the government officials know what they are? He's like, he right there. He did a little hesitation. Let's go back. I want you to hear that.
That there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen.
Government know what they are.
We are still investigating this. I can't tell you definitively.
He said you can't tell. He can't say definitively, so he definitely knows. Okay, so that's enough. At least ways we think our people aren't doing shit. They are. They fucking really are. They know what's going on.
I cannot characterize for you definitively
We'll go
what
back and
these
play some
sightings
video
are.
games
I
after
can just
this.
go back to what I said at the opening. We've looked at the imagery. We
Yeah, he's a
can't
salesman
corroborate
for sure.
some of the
Fuck
reported
yeah.
sightings through our own expert analysis using sophisticated detection techniques. But that doesn't mean that, we're putting our pen down here this afternoon and calling it a day. We're going to keep at this.
What are you doing though?
We are continuing to investigate it, as I said in my opening statement, 2 federal agencies, as well as the United States Coast Guard and state and local law enforcement officials, which we are staying in close touch with.
Picking up on drones, has it reached a level, or is there a level determined by which the president or the administration, more directly, would prohibit any use of the airspace, since it is regulated, for drones for a period of time to try to figure out who they are and to remove this anxiety that people in the Northeast are feeling?
I don't know that we're at a stage right now where we're considering that sort of a policy option, but I can tell you that we're going to keep an open mind here, and I think whatever policy options we determine are appropriate will be informed by the investigation. And thus far, in this early stage of the investigation, there's just no national security threat that we see and no public safety risk. So again, you want to be careful that you don't you don't jump to conclusions and you don't jump to policy options that may not be appropriate at this particular stage. But we'll obviously see where it goes, and we'll be informed by it.
Yeah, I got audio. What you talking about? I had it muted. Yeah. I had it muted. Sorry, I'm about to look up some stuff right now. I'm about to show like the little pew 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 that these drones were letting out. That's not what I want. right, here we go. You'll like this one. He's like, here's this, look at this fucker. That's the bizarre stuff. So when they say, you know, oh, you can't see the video? Oh, my bad, 1 sec. So yeah, like when people are talking about this not being a national security threat or whatever, and you got these things that are shooting things out, like they can at least address some of those types of concerns, like nobody was hurt, but you know what? It's what we see on TV that they want us to see. So that's about as much as I care to really talk about it. I'm going to let it go. I don't really care. So from here on out, I'm just going to sit back, see what happens in the next 24 or 48 hours, because it's not going to stop. People in New Jersey are going to flip out. Something else is going down from now till then. Oh, it's a military video? Tell me more about it, Patrick. Yeah, I'm probably just go back playing some video games, spend some time with my daughter. See, I got my kid here now, so she's upstairs. She don't even care. She's just screwing off with freaking Legos. Nah, Stephanie, yeah, let's go, let's go. Yeah, I'm curious about these. You know, like it's fun for TV. Like I watch this as like a TV show, but I can't take anything serious because obviously the government isn't going to give us what we're asking for. So there's no sense in me getting like wound up about it. And like I said, I took a video. I mean, I kind of showed it before. Let me see if I can show it again. But it was like in where I was at. And I was just like going outside. I was like looking out the window or something. I just like opened the blinds. And I looked, I was like, man, I was telling my buddy I was on the phone. I was like, man, you know, they got this shit. They talking about these New Jersey drones. As soon as I opened the window, I was like, oh shit, there goes one over my damn house. Hold up. Let me take a video of this shit. Let me see if I can find it again. Yeah. There's a little bit. You can see a little bit of it. I mean, it's not like these drones, and it's like, okay, so we talking about drones right now. There's also other stuff that's up in the sky that people aren't talking about, which is these orb-looking things, these light orbs. So I think some of this might be like, okay, so there's going to be some massive news that's happening on one side with the drones. And then we got massive news that's happening with this orb activity. So there's a lot of people that are noticing all that going on in the sky. And so that's getting mushed together with the drone shit. So most people aren't, if you get into this too deep with the drones, you're probably not going to care at some point. But the orb activity, which they don't really double down on, and that's not in the news, nothing's being said about it. So I'm going to go back and play this one from earlier. So like, yeah, check this out. It looks like it's coming out of the water.
Wow, hold on. That was like unfocused as fuck. That goes into the clouds.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was.
No, I didn't see that.
It looked like it went like through a portal or something.
Right next to the moon.
Yeah, the orb stuff's even more crazy.
Yeah, it's rolling. All that beautiful bean footage.
I love that freaking line.
Beans, promise beans.
You know that's like one of us filming this.
Beans, boss.
Now you know I'm gonna post this on Facebook.
That shit's great. You know I'm gonna post this on Facebook. Could it be a rocket launch? Maybe. But again, we've got this like activity with, I don't know if I got, hold on, let me make sure I got this part up. So I mean, if you look right here, there's this from the ocean line, and I don't know of any rockets taking off and leaving that in the ocean. So I'm not gonna put that on a rocket right now, but hey, could be. What if somebody brought up something about Russia's launching things from the ocean and they're launching the drones? So I mean, I just like throwing out different ideas. But let's say if we put some of this together. You say it's photoshopped? I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But the commentary sounds great, right? So if you've got somebody, let's say it's Janice. Janice from Facebook was hanging out with Bob and Billy. And they were having a good old laugh, and they caught this shit like, man, I'm getting this on camera, baby. And they posted on Facebook. That's cool, because guess what? People know Janice, and they know she don't be posting shit. So at some level, you can see if it's going to be a bunch of bullshit or faked. But my thing is, let's go for shits and giggles. Let's have it for entertainment purposes. This is legit. Let's say this is legit. If we go with the earlier assumption that Russia is coming underwater and doing different stuff and launching things out from it, this is kind of like the smoking gun that connects the two. So Russia launches something like this out of the water. It breaks loose. We got a drone. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying that's what it is. All these pieces of footage, like now with AI and everything, I mean, I make footage right now too. I'm just having fun. But you can take footage, manipulate it like this, and overlay it with some audio, and now you've got like a cool scene that everyone believes is true. The difference that's with this and something like the drones is that people are all out in New Jersey checking it out. Like it ain't just somebody isolated event that's watching something happen in the ocean. I just thought this was cool for just thinking and talking about it. It may be legit. I don't know who this person is. Matter of fact, let's see. UFO Mania. See, that could be fake right there. I don't even like how that looks. But let's see what some other people say here. You got to bear with me because I don't even do anything on Twitter. I don't know jack on Twitter. I can't see none of the commentary. Oh, here we go. Yeah. There's somebody talking about how blurry and unfocused it is. Like, I don't know. Like I said, maybe she was just hanging out by the coast and decided, wow, let me catch this real quick. I like that one. That's great. We got the flat earth. There we go. It's just fun to watch. Some have just a drone is coming from a submarine. Oh, there it is. See, that's what I just brought up. You know what? TV show. Okay, like for reals. Let me come back with some brass tack stuff. So, if we're sitting here thinking that, I don't know, that this is like the powers that be don't know what's going on. I wish people could assume this. But our country And the other countries, they work together. Whether or not we want to believe that, because they're hoping that they could give us the information that they feed us in programming, television programming, television and programming, so that you'll believe that somebody's up against us. We have to fight against them. The classic cliche problem. So I don't even think, like, if it's Russia, then America knows about it. Everybody's in on the whole fucking thing except for the public people. That's it. So I don't really, like, a lot of times I don't care that this activity's happening. Okay, so yeah, over in England, right? So all these things are happening everywhere. It's probably orchestrated. These guys on the upper levels are doing it. So then when they say, well, it could be Russia, it could be China, it could be Iran, that's just very convenient information for us to assume. It just adds to the pot of speculation. So, yeah, it's Starlink can, okay. So, yeah, people have talked about Starlink and Elon Musk. I've heard that one run a couple times. I don't know. Here's the weird thing. So, if we got the Georgia girl, right, she's talking about those cars with the lights going off. That's a little weird, right? I thought that was a little weird. And we know he was talking a little bit about the Tesla vehicles. There was something that came out a while back with the Tesla vehicles all showing up in one spot and then something happening with them turning on and lighting up and something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of bizarro things happening right now. And so if it's tied to Elon, it could be a lot of technological things happening. What if they're testing out AI? How about that? Can I throw that theory out there? Maybe they're testing artificial intelligence to see how it runs the scenarios it gives it, especially in regards to the American people. Like, it don't have to be Elon per se. It could be Elon working with the government. I don't know. Yeah, Steph. I feel you. Yeah. Just us playing against us like we always do. Look, if we had a government that acted really honestly for us and truthworthy and all that kind of stuff and was transparent, there would be no reason for us to assume that they're up to some shit. But they haven't always been the most forthcoming with the facts. Man, yeah, they didn't get me with that. They didn't get me with the jab. They tried to get me with that one. No. My mama told me, She says whenever somebody comes out with something like a new shot, new medicine, or anything like that, give it 5 to 10 years of testing at least, and then you might see the long-term effects. She told me that when I was in high school. That was like, what, damn, 30 years ago? Long time. I'm an old dude. So like when it came out, I was like, nope, you ain't catching me with that one. Sorry. They said, oh, we haven't tested it, really? I was like, you haven't tested it and you want everybody to drink it? Nah, thanks. I feel for anybody that got it, but here's the thing. There's, from what I heard, you can get, what is it? God, I don't even talk about this subject with the vaccines. So apparently there's like it sheds or something. There's vaccine shedding or something. So like you may not got the shot. Like you could be one of the people that didn't get it, like me. But if you fooling around with enough people, it's supposed to be able to shed to you. And I'll be honest with you, I broke up with my girl at that time. It wasn't like the greatest situation. So I went out and kind of had myself a Funville experience. I had a lot of different partners. And damn near every single one of them had gotten the shot. And I'm not going to lie, I felt freaking sick. I'm not going to lie. I was like, damn, I even went to the doctor, got checked out. But said pure blood. All right, yeah, I feel you. Yeah. You got to be careful who you mess with nowadays. And I don't know, there's an ivermectin. They tell people to take ivermectin. I've never taken it, but I can get a whole bunch of it if I ever need it. I just ain't had a reason to go get it. Probably should try some. I don't know. Anyways, but y'all, hey, I'm going to stop the live feed. I got some shit to do. I'm going to go have some fun with my kiddo. I can bounce back later with some cool shit. But if y'all got any ideas on what you think this drone stuff is, just put it in the comments line. I'll look into it a little bit more. But for right now, I think it's just a circus act with our government and probably the other governments around the world. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on